Hello everyone, and welcome to my video for Season 2, Chain Lightning build for leveling to 50. I have finished Capstone at level 55 in under 1 minute. If you want to see the full fight, can check my previous video. After Capstone was easy enough to do any content in World Tier 4, even if the monster were 20 levels above. I will finish the complete build for level 100 in a couple of days. But this is the direction I go for my first chain build in Season. The build is very tanky and can reach easy infinite mana with just dungeon aspects. Sure, till World Tier 3 we use Spark to fill the gap for mana, but starting with World Tier 3 we can remove Spark and get Ice Armor as we will get mana synergy. I started the season in World Tier 2 and did Capstone Dungeon for World Tier 3 at level 40. Was easy and there was no pressure on surviving. We do have carryover on all renown, so we start with enough points to get Spark and his passive Flickering Spark and max out Chain Lightning and get Destructive Passive. Later on, at level 30 or so, swap Spark passive as Chain will generate enough crackling on its own. We'll show during video the transition full skill tree that I had when did both Capstone Dungeons. Till level 30 we add Flame Shield, Lightning Spear with the passive for stuns, and use Fireball Enchant. As soon as you reach level 30 and unlock the second enchantment slot, swap Fireball Enchant for Lightning Spear, and add Chain Lightning Enchant too. I recommend playing a staff. We will have crazy attack speed with Vampiric Power and Crackling Generation, lots of spears around and very low cooldown on ultimate because of Overflow Energy, Vampiric Power and Teleport passive that make Crackling Energy hit more enemies. Yes, we do not need the damage reduction passive on Teleport. With his other passive, our lightning cooldowns go down fast even if we use a staff. In the leveling process, most important is to have critical chance on both rings and gloves. This to enable synergy on Crackling Generation. Other affixes, just pick any additive damage and some good defenses, is a waste of time and materials if try min-max now. Just needs minimal to get ready for Capstone. Have both dungeon aspects Prodigy and recharging on rings. Play the movement speed aspects to get attack speed buff from Vampiric Power and swap Spark passive to the one that gives critical chance. And like said earlier, after level 30 I had enchantments, Lightning Spear and Chain Lightning. The Vampiric powers I chose make us very tanky and provide a lot of attack speed. I had the same powers even in World Tier 4 being 20 levels below monsters. I will look into possible changes on Vampiric powers at higher levels, but for fast leveling those looked ideal to me. Considering the vulnerable one is locked behind a lot of grind, is no point get that one early on, and I am not sure I will even get it later as we have Static Surge for vulnerable. We'll test later what is best for Tier 100. Once reach World Tier 3, first goal is to get a sacred weapon. I had no issues farming for it in Helltide since level 40. Can only equip it at level 45. But I start stacking items till then to make transition to sacred items. I have did both Nightmare Dungeons and some Blood Harvest event to be able unlock all Vampiric powers to test properly, but have to say the event gets less XP than doing Nightmare Dungeons. We have to do it though if want unlock all powers faster. I will show now the full build I had at level 55 when doing the level 70 Capstone Dungeon for World Tier 4. Gear, all skills and the few Paragon points I had. On Weapon Tether aspect is an option, but we will have a barrier almost permanent so aspects with bonus damage when have barrier are good too, or even control aspect. Do not use your best aspects before World Tier 4 is a waste, as you want to keep the best aspect for the first ancestral weapon. We do not need Spark anymore, so the first 2 points are irrelevant. They are just to unlock core skills. Also, we will have Paragon Static Surge for permanent vulnerable apply. So from that point on, any vulnerable affix is good too, but not mandatory. Like how damage buckets work now, being capped and additive on the leveling process, just be fine with any affix you have a high roll and a high uptime. Damage to close, distant are as good as extra bonus to vulnerable in the damage calculations. Intelligence, though, is an affix you will want to make priority. And like said earlier during video, on gloves and rings priority affix critical chance. Plus, rank of chain lightning on gloves a must, and priority movement speed on boots and amulet. When going for World Tier 4, be sure to have decent resistances in stats page after penalty, at least 40% or so, and I recommend bring fire to max 70% with gems or affixes. Will help on capstone fight. Poison resistances higher will help too. Armor have 5,000 plus, is easy to achieve with armor affixes. Even 23 levels behind had no issue farm World Tier 4 since level 55. Focus get the ancestral items, weapon priority. You can only equip them at level 60, but I stacked them before, so I get ready to do Nightmare Dungeons Tier 20 plus at level 60s. You can do any content easily, even the Blood Harvest if you want to level or unlock vampiric powers. But Nightmare Dungeons do provide more experience and glyph leveling that will be more important. We need all glyphs level 15 as soon as possible for increased glyph range. I will show after this dungeon at the end of the video how my Paragon progressed after level 60, but is a work in progress. In a couple of days, I will upload the build for leveling to 100, followed by the final 100 build. I am not yet decided on the best glyphs to use. I want to test all options. Certain I will level first to 15 the destruction glyph and all the intelligence glyphs, as I will focus a lot stacking intelligence. I have used Unleash glyph as was the one unlocked early, many not being unlocked at that point. They do not make much difference at this point, but later on. Most important is unlock as soon as possible Static Surge Legendary Node and level glyphs to 15. As second board, I did go as direction to grab Ceaseless Conduit Legendary Node. In couple of days, I will upload the leveling to 100 video with Paragon Plan 2. I just want to test with actual gameplay properly and in very high tiers. Thank you for watching and for support.